Hello everybody and welcome back to another video tutorial. In this video tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to create the hip pocket, also referred to as an inset pocket. The hip pocket is that pocket that you often find located at the side of the pants or skirt at the hip level. Mostly you see this on pants more than skirts. This type of pocket design often has a deep or slight curved opening that leads into the pocket. Sometimes the opening can be diagonal. So without further ado, let's get into today's lesson. So here is the sloper of my pants front and back. Because I'm going to be creating a pocket design on the front of the pants, it's best to use a pant sloper rather than a pattern. The difference between a sloper and a pattern is that a sloper doesn't have the half-inch seam allowance and the pattern has a half-inch seam allowance built into it. So it's best to do your design or alteration on your sloper, and once your design is complete you can add your half-inch seam allowance and make it into a pattern, because a pattern is the only one that allows you to create or construct a garment. If you're still confused about the difference between a pattern and a sloper, I have a video that explains that. I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description box. Here is a copy of my pants front on which I'm going to create the hip pocket. It's good to have a copy of your original or basic sloper or pattern for safekeep for future designs. For this tutorial to be complete, I think it's best I show how to create the hip pocket pattern rather than just show how to sew the hip pocket. So to begin, we're gonna need a copy of the pants front sloper. So we're gonna set the other ones, the original copies of our pants sloper, aside and work with the copy that we made. So cut out your tracing paper and draw a line across that represents your waist. Match the waistline on the tracing paper with the one on the pants. Make sure the tracing paper covers the waist side of your pants as well. So what you're going to do is draw a vertical line from any of the dart legs all the way to the crotch point. I choose to use the third dart leg. So go ahead and trace the side seam all the way to the crotch point. Then from the crotch point, trace the crotch line. Then draw a vertical line from any dart leg that you choose all the way to the crotch point. Now we have our pocket facing. Then label your waist, your side seam, your hip level, and your crotch level on your pocket facing. Next, curve the bottom of the pocket facing. Then smooth out the side seam of the pocket facing with your curved ruler. The next step is to cut out your pocket facing with a scissors. Here is a closer look of what the pocket facing will look like if it has been attached to the inside of the pants. The next step is to create the pocket opening, which is usually a deep or slight curve or sometimes a diagonal. To create a pocket opening for an adult sized person, come in about 2 inches from the waist, and from that point, come down about 6 inches. Then draw a curve at about 4 or 5 inch mark. Then cut out the curve opening. On a separate tracing paper, draw a line that represents the waist and place and match that line onto the waist of the pants. Then trace the pocket opening, the side seam, and the crotch line. Make sure you mark your hip level line. Next, place your interfacing over your pocket opening. Make sure to match your waist, the hip level, and the crotch level line, and then trace out the curved side of the pocket interfacing onto the pocket opening to create your pocket bag. Next, cut out your pocket bag. Before I go any further into the lesson, I'm gonna recreate my pocket facing onto a paper that is of the same color as my pants sloper in order to eliminate any confusion, so that way when I'm cutting it out on a fabric, I would know that my pocket facing and my pants pattern should be of the same color. Here I'm just quickly demonstrating what it would look like when everything is put together. You will see that it looks like our original pants sloper or pattern. I went ahead and created another hip pocket pattern for two reasons. One, to demonstrate to you what a diagonal pocket opening looks like, and two, I felt like the first pocket I created was too small to showcase a good sized adult pocket. That's because I used a kid size pant sloper to showcase an adult size pocket. I created another pocket pattern that showcases a pocket of the same scale as the pant sloper. The pocket bag should be about the hand size of the person that you're creating a garment for. Because I preferred the curved opening for my hip pocket, I decided to go with the curved opening instead of the diagonal. The process for creating the pocket pattern remains the same. The only thing that has changed is the size of the pocket opening. So I laid everything side by side so you could see what each pattern looks like, and then I'm gonna put them to quickly demonstrate how to put them together just to give you a visual of what it would look like when it's finished. So next, cut out your patterns. And remember that your pocket facing should be in the same fabric as your pants pattern. The next step is to mark your darts on your pants pattern. Transfer all the dart points onto your pattern. And notch the two dart legs. Then fold to match the notches. Then draw a stitch line from the dart notch to the dart point, then pin the dart in place. Next, place the pocket bag over the pants front pattern right side to right side. Then you're going to stitch from one end of the pocket opening to the other end of the pocket opening. You could add a fusible interfacing to the pocket opening to stabilize and strengthen the pocket opening. The next step in creating our hip pocket is grading. Grading is a process in which you trim down the seam allowance to about 1/4 of an inch, then snip about 1 inch apart along the seam allowance. Grading is done to reduce bulk or excess at the seam so that your garment can lay flat and neat when folded. Grading is very essential when you have a curved seam, but it can also be used or applied to a straight seam if it's too bulky. Next, fold your pocket back under and give it a good press. Next, do a top stitch along the edge of the pocket opening. The top stitch will prevent the pocket from folding over and allow it to stay in place. Once the top stitch is done, the next thing is to place the pocket facing over the pocket bag right side to right side. Then sew the pocket facing onto the pocket bag, but do not attach it to the pants pattern. You're only attaching the pocket facing onto the pocket bag. Pin your pocket facing onto your pocket bag, but do not pin it to the pants pattern because again you're only attaching the pocket bag to the pocket facing. Then sew along the edge with 1/2 inch seam stitch. The next step is to attach the pants front onto the pants back. Place them right side to right side and sew along the side seam. Pin your pants pattern together at the side seam. And sew 1/2 inch stitch along the side seam. When sewing, remember to do a back stitch at the beginning and at the end of your sewing to prevent your garment from coming loose at the seam. Finally, to complete your hip pocket, press open the seam on the inside of your garment, then press it together on the outside. Pressing the seam open on the inside will allow your garment to lay flatter on the outside. And here is the final look of the hip or inset pocket. Okay everyone, we've come to the end of this tutorial. If I have made the concept of creating and sewing a hip pocket or inset pocket a little bit easier to understand and helped further your fashion designing experience, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, share and leave your comment down below. Until my next video, bye and good luck.